Okay, hey, guys. How's it going? It is Wednesday. It is hump day. We're going to be doing some more floor grinding and dying. Wayward souls. So. Oh, man. Hey. How's it going, Habits? Gotta get everything all situated and all tangled up here. Doing well, man. Doing well. All right, we got some upgrade stuff that we can do, but I'm gonna hold off on doing that for right now. Try to grind. I'm also gonna take off this hat. All right, so no more eye patch. That's a lucky roll. We got a pet early. Alright, I'll take a health boost. Alright, so we got a teleporter down here. I guess I'll go ahead and activate that. Sure. Might as well. I mean, it really didn't save me any time, but, you know. Whatever. It's activated. It has been several hours since the attack on the tower. The assassins are cutting both Commonwealth and Emperor alike. They must be here for my life's work to cut me down before I can pose a threat to them. I will never let those fools take it. It's just very blah. Alright, so this run is going pretty bad so far. So my wife's sitting beside me and she's telling the story about how my buddy's truck was stolen. And it's ridiculous. It's kind of like an old Ford Ranger. And, like old Ford Ranger. And I wish I had a picture of it so I could show you guys, because it's absolutely ridiculous. But he drives around in this thing, and it has mannequin arms attached to the doors. Because, you know, modern mannequin arms are magnetic for easy removal. And, surprise, car doors are made out of metal most of the time. So. But it's nothing special, so nobody, like, you would think nobody would want to steal it. But it was stolen. They got it back a couple days later, minus the potting soil that was in the back. So I don't think it had anything to do with the truck at all. I think it had everything to do with the potting soil that was in the back of the truck. Oh, they also stole that particular set of mannequin arms. So that was a wash. So now he has a mannequin that doesn't have arms. This is a bad. This is going very poorly. We're off to a pretty bad start. This is good. It's good stuff. Oh, fuck that guy. I mean, I suppose if I was smart, I'd use my shield the way that I'm supposed to. I'll take increased critical strikes. I mean, so likely right now in this first run, I'm gonna die. No bones about it. Yeah, and that's all she wrote on that one. So we're gonna try and do a run with the rogue, see how different this goes. The rogue has kind of an unfair advantage where she can get back behind or beside someone and do a backstab. So we'll see how this run turns out. On the first floor, already taking some damage. I know where the healing font is, so that's good. It's always plus. So compared to the other characters, the rogue doesn't have... Well, what I should say is the rogue has a dash and evade. The other characters have sub-weapons. The other characters, default characters anyway. So like I said, luckily I know where the healing area is at. Alright, so I get one free hit with the protection barrier. Alright, we're at the exit, so... So, despite the short reach and the limited moveset, the rogue, to me anyway, seems like she's easier to use. Alright, inflicts a stunning poison on enemies that strike you in melee, reduces damage taken. Alright, so we'll go with that. The other thing seems too limited. If you only get one per floor. Like, I want to say that the rogue is actually kind of broken. So habits, how did the sound in that clip, how did that work out for you? Improvement over the last time? The one that was posted in the Discord. Oh yeah, if you click on the link instead of the picture, it's actually a clip. The image is just like an image preview. test it real quick. Oh, it looks like it's working for me, man. It's really weird. Like, if you click on the actual hyperlink, it should work. That's weird, man. But OneDrive's weird like that sometimes. Yeah, I think so. I think that sounds way better than it did on Saturday night. Alright, I'm gonna... Oh, hold on. I'll wait till I find the teleporter and then I'll backtrack. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that the sound quality going forward, since it was like impromptu, like I didn't get a chance to test it, right? Like it was just a thing that kind of happened. For all the future stuff, I wanted to test it out. So I had a chance yesterday to make some recordings, run some audio tests, and I think I personally think the sound quality was better yesterday, or from my tests yesterday than it was that impromptu session on Saturday night. When I get a chance, I'm gonna take a look at some of the VST plugins for OBS and kind of mess around with that too. I just have to, like, I think Reaper is one of the big ones, like but I have to mess with it. Well, you know, I always like to be aware of all the capabilities of something, like if I'm gonna mess with some stuff, so. Which is why so even though you guys enjoyed Saturday night, I wasn't 100% happy with it because I didn't have proper time to do setup, so. But for right now, the way that it's set up, it sounds good enough, and I want to mess with it, but I don't want to fuck anything up. But really, up to this point, like dude, I had just anticipated using this stupid headset mic and all that stuff. I wasn't anticipating having anything else plugged in. Well, and I appreciate that, but, you know, my personal vanity's at stake there, so I'm like, you know, I want it to at least sound decent. For any unfortunate person that may have come in on accident or been curious. Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, because I play Fortnite and I die all the time, and I don't really care about that. But, you know, it's just one of those things. I took a shit ton of damage just then. I don't think whatever's up here is going to be worth it, but I'm going for it anyway. Like, I'm not getting any experience out of this. Yeah, man, that's anytime, dude. Like, I'm not super busy. I mean, you see that my streaming schedule is pretty sporadic. I'm lurking more than I'm streaming. Mistakes were made. Yeah, recently it's just been easier to lurk channels than it has been to like dedicate any time to streaming. But in that interim period, I've spent a lot of time like obviously tweaking my layout and teaching myself some HTML and JS, CSS, so it's worked out. It's worked out well. Hasn't just been wasted time. No, that was the starting location. It is. I mean, it's like a lot of constant tweaks and improvements. For the most part, anyway. For the most part, that my setup now, aside from a handful of like quality of life things, like maybe animated, like actual animated transitions, like stinger transitions, I think that's really the only thing that I would also like to have, but. Alright, so floor 1 made it through with no incident. And you know, so that's the thing too, right? Like I could I could potentially get somebody to do a stinger transition for me, but I don't even know what I want. Like I don't know if I want to keep. I don't know if I want to keep the layout the way that I have it. I don't know if it's eventually going to evolve into something else. which would then necessitate a new stinger transition. Power attack turns into a spinning kick that stuns and reflects magical projectiles in a circle. Power attack slides under enemies, stunning those who you pass by. Let's go with this. Yeah, well, you know, so I think the username is going to stay static. Channel name, like what I call the situation, what I call the stream may be something different, but this screen name is going to stay the same. Well, you know, people are indecisive. Like, they get into something and they don't really know exactly what they're looking for. I mean, as a for instance, right? So, like, when this all started, when everything started, we were all playing Overwatch. And we are definitely not all playing Overwatch now. Like, at this point, I've decided I'm a variety streamer, because I'm not exceptionally good at any of those other games. So I have to figure out other ways to be entertaining. And you know, it's risky having shifting content where I'm like, oh, I'm playing this new game. Like, hey guys, come watch me play this new game that you've never heard of. That wasn't even on your radar. But, you know, the reality of the situation is I like Overwatch, right? I think it's a great game. But I'm not like a pro Overwatch player, so nobody wants to watch, like, busted-ass mediocre Overwatch. Yeah, and so, you know, the ironic thing about that is, I have always loved the ridiculous 80s aesthetic, okay? It's cool. I think it's cool looking. And then all of a sudden, that shit became mainstream, and then everybody liked it. At the risk of sounding like a filthy hipster. my only solace in that entire situation is, at least I know I made all my shit myself. Or I should say, my composition is unique. Oh yeah, no, they definitely do. And it may look better, because they had a professional designer. And I don't know jack dick about designing anything. I think I have somewhat well-tuned spatial recognition abilities, and that kind of helps with some design elements. But I don't know. I don't, you know. Yeah, if there's something that definitely, if there's something that I need a second opinion on, definitely look into that. But a lot of, so the current theme that I have, a lot of it was looking at other people's like streamlined designs and kind of coming up with an average, like a visual average of that design language. I mean, there are things that people want on the stream, or they expect on the stream, so you kind of have to cater to that. It's also difficult too. So, I mean, this layout, I think this layout is incredibly clean, right? And it gets all the message across. You got this up here that scrolls through the most recent events. And there's an alert pop-up that pops up above that, like just above that right there. I did some tuning recently, so subscription and donation messages actually pop up on screen. So any donation that's over $5 will show the message. As far as I know, all of the subscription messages should show. But what I noticed about a lot of streamers, a lot of new streamers, is that or newer streamers, like when they're coming up with a like a brand identity or coming up with some kind of coming up with their layout, it is incredibly gaudy. Like there's shit everywhere. And that's something that I, in the end, decided to avoid. Oh yeah, and dude, I spent weeks and weeks, like, literally doing math to figure out what I needed on the screen to keep everybody happy. Everybody, as in the viewers, happy. Because I ended up, like, I don't know if I told you, but I ended up getting a new computer around like March time frame, and that was right around the time that I started shifting some of the layout stuff on my channel. Yeah, so my original layout, the layout that I had before, was it was an attempt to mask the fact that I had an older computer and slightly, let's just say, underpowered hardware, right? So I used some visual trickery and misdirection to present a good enough looking stream. While having older, underpowered-ish hardware. But once I got a new computer and I was able to maintain visual quality and stream on a single PC, I decided it was time to make a big boy layout. That's why my old layout was window in window, with the grid thing going on in the background. Yeah, Streamlabs OBS definitely definitely didn't do anybody any favors in the realm of having minimalist overlays. Stream Elements either. Stream Elements has some, I love Stream Elements to death, but they have some gaudy shit going on there. But you know, if that's what you're into, then that's what you're into. I can't hold that against you. It's not something that I liked, personally. I mean, you've seen the layouts on Streamlabs OBS. There's stuff everywhere. I mean, so I'm not gonna lie. So I'm sure that there are people that would argue that this is a kind of a gaudy situation. So lots of shit going on. But everything that's going on here, I mean, a stream elements or a stream labs overlay is typically this plus a bunch of other crap going on. So it's like this taken up to like 11 or 12. Yeah, and so I mean, I feel like I worked hard to try to make it meaningful and useful. Like everything there has its purpose. So I'm not trained in design work, right? But I feel like I know when shit doesn't look good, but that doesn't necessarily mean that I know when shit does look good. There it is. Died. I got punched to death by the Unterdruckling. Oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. You know, so for some people, I honestly don't think it's rude, right? Because let's back this out for a second. Alright, so I personally don't think it's rude, but I also designed all of this on my own, right? Like, this wasn't a committee design. I didn't commission someone to build this for me. I looked at, or I made some observations based on other people's streams, high-profile streamers, smaller streamers, and just to see what worked visually for them, right? Like, what was appealing, what wasn't appealing to me as a viewer, and so I made this layout. I spent a lot of time, and I spent a lot of my free time creating and crafting this layout. And for most people, it goes completely unnoticed. But there are other streamers out there that do their own design work. Like Ammunition does all of her own design work and art and graphics and stuff like that. And I'm not 100% sure. She has some blog posts about some of the design stuff, but people aren't necessarily cared about her design work on that, which I'm assuming she put a decent bit of time into. Spec 2600, thank you for the host. Anybody coming over from Spec stream, welcome. We're mostly talking about my layout while people are watching me die in this game. Speaking of which, I actually have to make some adjustments to the layout. Okay, so we're back. Sorry, there's a little bit of technical difficulty. I have to mess around with some of the audio sourcing stuff. So I'm not 100% sure that it's happening, but there may be tiny skips in the audio, so I have to add some audio sources to a couple scenes real quick. So just hang tight. Alright, so I'm not 100% sure, but I think we're good now. Alright, so habits, one of the things that I've done, so lacking a proper stinger transition, one of the things that I've done, I don't know if this is something that you picked up on, but using advanced scene switcher, I have like bumper scenes set up. So when I switch between this layout and this layout, it will clear the screen and it'll go to that background, and then it will fade into this scene. So that gives a chance for the overlays to load from stream elements, but it also acts as kind of a like wipe and a clean, to act as a semi-stinger transition. Vasilini, thank you for the host. Anybody from Vasilini's channel that hanging out. We're mostly watching me die in Wayward Souls and talking about my my stream layout and some of the technical stuff. But yeah, so that stinger, that's a fake stinger. It's just a scene in OBS that has an advanced scene switcher tag on it, and so when it's been active for 1 second, it makes a transition to the actual scene that it's the actual target scene. And that was completely unintentional. I also didn't want to do that. Oh, see, this is how I know I'm not really paying attention to what's going on. Oh, warp too far. Alright, let's go back up. But yeah, so those are my fake stingers until I come up with a better quote unquote transition method. I think it gets the job done. But one of the other things that I'll be testing out tonight as well is so Advanced Scene Switcher has that has an option to automatically end a stream or a recording when it's on a specific scene. And typically it's not a problem, but I do in my outro scene, I have a song that plays, and for stupid reasons, I like the song to play through completion. So I have an advanced scene switcher set up to swap to a scene that triggers the stream actually ending. Honestly, I'm surprised that the advanced scene switcher stuff has not been rolled into main branch OBS. Kind of the same way that the AMD codecs that was not stock in OBS, but it did end up getting folded into main branch. Yeah, so Advanced Scene Switcher can get a little bit buggy. It's one of the things that I've noticed. If you mash scene transitions, like if you're just going to town on scene transitions, it'll freak out and the timer won't work properly. But I've got a hotkey to reset it, so it's not a big deal. I'd turn it off and turn it back on. It usually fixes the issue. Alright, let's see what's going on down here. And he's dead. Cyril is dead. I don't know, man. Honestly, I think I might just keep it the way that it is. I thought about making some changes. Like leaning hard into that Memphis design style that was like super popular in the 90s with the squiggly lines and the geometric shapes and stuff like that. But it's not something that people see a lot of anymore, right? So it's had a kind of a resurgence, but for the most part I think I'm just going to keep this the way that it is until there's like something that necessitates a change. I mean, as far as like small tweaks go, like this text right here, and then this text down here. So I recently redid specs layouts and everything like that. I bumped up the text size on her layout right up here, and her thing here. I bumped up the text size and it works out a little bit better. It makes it a little bit more readable. Yeah, I like figuring this stuff out, and it's nothing against you. I mean, it's like definitely not a bad on, like, it's not because I don't want you touching my shit. Like, I like to know how all this stuff works. Yeah, I remember when when I saw Coder's new layout, that was one of the things that you'd been talking about, and I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. And then I was like, man, I want to look into this and see all the different stuff that you can do. So I had taken a look at the plugins, and I was just trying to figure out the best implementation of it. And so far, Advanced Scene Switcher is used. Like, I'm using it for fake stingers. And I think it's serving its purpose well. Yeah, so it's I would imagine that we probably have pretty similar thought process when we're looking for assets, and so probably based on the words that you used and the words that I used to look for. And I honestly can't even remember what like how I phrased it, but there's actually a somewhat limited amount of stuff that you can use, kind of in a royalty-free-ish sense. So I tried to make sure that I was steering clear of stuff that people were, you know, it's like people's actual stuff. I try to steer clear of that as much as humanly possible. Alright, so that's the floor exit. Alright, cool. But yeah, I seem to recall when I was looking for a usable skyline for a synthwave thing. The options were I mean, I wouldn't say that they were like super limited, but there was a limited amount of stuff that I would use to convey the idea that I was going for. That's probably the best way to phrase that. Which stuff? Like the art stuff? I use paint.net for like all my picture stuff. All the video stuff is royalty free. I don't. This is gonna sound weird, but I don't really mess with any video stuff. So hold on, let's back out real quick. So the motion, hold on, let's back out a little bit further. I'm gonna turn the scene switcher off real quick. So, assuming that you can still hear me, so I'll do a breakdown. Alright, so the grid itself, that scrolling grid, that was a royalty-free from, that I found as an asset. So that scrolling grid, I think is I want to say it's like a 59-second loop that just constantly scrolls. The city skyline blocks, those were Google searches. The sunset in the background, or the moon, or whatever the light orb in the background, that was another royalty-free Google search. The stars, so like a lot of this stuff is based on visual trickery, right? Like I had been explaining before, the stars are actually static and blinking, and that was another royalty-free resource that I'd found. I have applied a vertical scrolling filter to it to simulate movement. But all of these art assets right now are grayscale, and there's another filter applied on top of them to change their color. So like I could switch to, hold on, where's my old, I think I saw my old layout. All right, so let me turn some stuff off on here, and I'll point at some things real quick. All right, so I can't. Oh, I can. Hold on one second. So assuming that you can still hear me, let me see if I can do this. Let me do this live. So I have a set of filters set up for this scene. Let me see if I can get to it. So I could. So right now the scene is completely, like, it's completely grayscale because I grayscaled all those images and the videos. I think with separate filters on each one of those assets. So I have all this stuff going, and for a while, so you know, with my old layout, I had this in the background all the time. So when I was playing Overwatch, I was using this theme, which is super bright, but it matches with the Overwatch colors. I have this one, which is basically what I keep it on now, and this is actually Twitch's official color applied as a gradient over this. I used this when I was playing Dragon Ball FighterZ. This is Fortnite. This is Sony's blue PlayStation color. This is Microsoft's Xbox green. This is Nintendo red, which is just bloody bright. I have a bright Miami Vice color. A very Tronish looking color. And then I did some experiments with some other stuff. I don't know which one this is. Oh, yeah. So this is an image mask of a GIF on top of this entire scene, which is just really trivial looking and like not super useful for anything. And this one is just a scrolling color pattern. Again, not I mean, it's good as like an attract scene. I think this would have been good as like this might be good for an intro sequence, so I might try that out. All right. So we should be back, and everything should be back on. Let's test it out. Yeah, so instead of using After Effects, I use the stuff that's built into OBS. So it's a little bit more limited in what I can do, because I have to work within the confines of what OBS can do. But understanding kind of what the limitations are of OBS, limitations like the limitations and the capabilities that OBS has, I've kind of worked around not having dedicated like video production software. So, and so for where I'm at right now, and for the purposes of what I was trying to do, I think this I feel like it works well. No, man. You know, so that's the thing about After Effects. Like, I would really dig in and try to do some crazy stuff. Like, I've seen tutorial work, and I'm like, oh, maybe I'll pay for the subscription for After Effects. But I honestly don't know how much I would use it. Unless I was going to be taking commissions to do stuff for other people. Short sword with an increased critical strike chance. Very slow, inflicts more damage, grants a leaping power attack. Let's go with the tiny sword. There are, but most of the... So, you know, this is the thing, right? Adobe is so prolific that most of the tutorials are based around doing work in After Effects. Oh, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I just don't, and not like it would be a significant amount of trouble, but I just don't feel like I need it right now, which sounds like a real dickish thing to say. It basically sounds like I'm saying, look at how fucking smart I am. I can achieve that effect without having to deal with any of that shit. Now so what I will say is the downside to that situation is OBS is processing this information, right? So whereas if I had if I had done this in After Effects where it's just a video, I mean, video playback now is basically like a zero cost like processing thing, right? But some of the more complicated stuff that might be going on back here, this is, this is eating up processor cycles. Like this is taking resources away. Or thankfully now, I have some overhead to play with in that department. Yeah, I mean that's true. I mean, video playback is close to being a zero cost resource. Yeah, that is true. And a lot of this stuff, so I could adjust a lot of this stuff on the fly. So for instance, like if I decided one day I didn't like the skyline that I had, I could find another skyline to put back there. if I just wanted to get rid of the skyline altogether and just have the grid and the stars, I could do that too. It's like 2 clicks. I can make it go away. I'm doing a real shit job of paying attention to the game right now. Alright, I don't know how much of this stage is left. I'm on floor 3. Alright, so I'm gonna go this way. Alright, it looks like we're at the exit, so I'm gonna go ahead and use that. Whew. Almost had a panic attack there for a second. Alright, so luckily we're at the floor change, so it's not bad using that health up. So we're gonna check out what's going on over here. Looking like slimes. Alright, so I know where the healing thing is. I should be getting another weapon upgrade shortly. So I've actually thought about doing, like, I haven't had a chance to test this out either, because I don't have the exact timing down, but what I kind of wanted to do is when I do the transitions, instead of just a like a fade, it would be a straight cut, but I would have to do the timing correct so that the grid and the skyline would come down together, like in tandem, and then the next scene would fade in. But again, like I said, I haven't had a chance to test any of that stuff out, so I haven't messed with it at all. Yeah, you know, so the thing is, I don't know that people realize how powerful OBS can be, like, doing stuff live. Go and use that health thing. Well, I am always happy to help. Yeah, so for some things, right? So, like, After Effects would still be really cool for certain things. Definitely. Like, if you were going to... man, I didn't really make a whole lot of money on that run. But if you're gonna... So if you're gonna... Like, if you were gonna have some kind of motion item in the background, and you wanted it to be able to fit with a specific color, there's different ways to get it to color match in the game, or, you know, in the scene or whatever. Like I was showing with some of that stuff that was going on. Oh yeah, like I said, man, it's figuring out what you can do and how far you could stretch a capability before it's like it's broken. Because I feel like a lot of times, like certain solutions that people arrive at are over-engineered for that specific problem. Like I said, a lot of the learning was based around the fact that my old computer was, I mean, it was old. It was an old computer. Alright, so I'm not going to kill those guys, because as far as I know, they don't pose any kind of threat. There were a couple other plugins that I was messing around with. I don't know if you remember when I had my camera on the left side and then I had an event list on the right side. I was messing around with like a 3D transform plugin that I could use to add like a depth effect to assets that were on the screen. So I could like tilt them and change the perspective slightly. Yeah. So that was a live transform. Do I have? I don't even. So I have it installed, but I don't have any assets that are using that anymore. So that was a really cool plugin. I think the problem was I just couldn't get the math right to figure out what angle and so there was a lot of stuff to control. Like you could control the rotation on every axis, and you can control like how deep it appeared that it was going to go into the screen. And I liked the way that it looked, but I wasn't 100% happy with it. So I ended up canning that. Actually, hold on. No, I think I got rid of it. Actually, no, wait, I still have it, so I can actually do I can do some live transforms on this. It's pretty ridiculous. Hold on. So, one of the things that I was messing around with was doing that, like dropping it into the screen a little bit, and then dropping it at kind of an angle. Dropping it at that angle. And that was one of those things I wasn't like I wasn't 100% happy with how that looked. Floor 2 and we're already down to like 50% health. Hopefully whatever upgrade I get is legit. Alright, so the last time I got this mushroom guy, I had great success. Alright, so I found the healing area. Let's see what kind of sick-ass upgrade I get. Alright, so do I want to hurt enemies while I'm dashing, or do I want the dash cost to be reduced? We'll go with that. Even though I don't dash a whole lot, but maybe that'll encourage that activity. Alright, so let's see. Do health up. Teleport because I'm lazy. I don't know that there's really a huge benefit to me going this way. Like, am I gonna get sick-ass amounts of money? Oh, there really wasn't a whole lot of stuff over there. So, I guess that wasn't so bad. But yeah, so this mushroom dude and his slow-moving projectile, awesome. Because it's like some kind of crazy poison thing. Alright, on to floor 3, let's go! fountain right there. I have not. So this game's it's kind of structured the same way as like Binding of Isaac or Dead Cells, Rogue Legacy. Game's kind of in that style. So it's separated into I think like 3 floors or 3 areas, and each area has like a certain amount of floors. But I've not completed this game yet. I've cleared the first area with 3 of the characters. Yeah, I think it's designed to be that way, right? Like for extra replayability. I mean, part of the problem right now is that I'm just being incredibly fucking careless. I honestly think co-op would make this game completely broken. I'm not against it. Definitely not against it, but I feel like it would break the game. So much more to explore. So many more ways to die. I feel like it would get a little bit crowded, and the only reason I say that is because so this game was this game, believe it or not, I'm not. I've heard good things about it though. Oh, there we go. And I'm dead. Because I'm stupid. Took a risk. Yeah, Risk of Rain is it's similar. It's like a similar style of game to this, right? Or am I thinking of a different game? Let's set that down for a second. Let's take a look at it real quick. I think so the permadeath, I think that's what was turning me off about the situation. Oh, yeah, so you do have this game. So you play to unlock more stuff basically till you can beat it, just like your average roguelike. So what's the... Explain the permadeath thing to me. So it's an unlock as in the item itself is unlocked for you to find, not necessarily unlocked and available from the beginning. Because Dead Cells is like that, so you play to unlock things that you could potentially find. Okay. So yeah, Risk of Rain had been one of those games that was kind of on my radar, but I was trying to figure out what the permadeath portion of that. Yeah, I see that you have it on your like you have it in your library. Blue Backbite. Look at that subscriber loyalty badge that you've got there. Yep, you got yourself a nice little arcade token there. It's Twitch purple with some bronze inlay. That is the 3-month recurring subscriber badge. The standard badge is just, it's plain purple. So Blue, are you gonna get in on some, you wanna get on some rock band karaoke? Yeah, in person, because you know you live like 10 miles from me. If I'm gonna do a whole band setup though, I need to figure out a better camera placement. Oh god, that sounds terrible. Working mids, man. How much longer are you going to be on that schedule? Do you know? You work that schedule until you're jobless. November. Oh, okay. Yeah, they'll go through. Well, I mean, based on my experience with the situation, those orders should go through. Man, I took a fucking beating just then. Like I just stood there and let those dudes beat the crap out of me. Let's see. Alright, well that's where the healing thing is at. Teleporter, another teleporter. So we're at 3 teleporters already, guys. Not counting the teleporter that's going to be in the main area. And this is only the first floor. So to the left, it should just be like wide open. Speaking of Dead Cells, I think Dead Cells just launched on the Switch. And I have Dead Cells on PC already. I've streamed it maybe a handful of times. It's not super entertaining to watch me play that game because I'm like not great at it. But I considered picking it up on the Switch just for the sake of portability. Because really, who doesn't like the ability to play a game on a toilet? I mean, not playing the game on the toilet itself. Playing the game while you're sitting on the toilet. Just felt I needed to clarify that. I meant more like, I'm sure there's a smart Internet of Things toilet that could probably, at the very least, run Doom somehow. Oh no, it's definitely not. Like it's not good for your legs or your anus, really. Iris, what's going on? How's your night going? How is your Wednesday? Hey man, I'm glad you're having a good night. Thanks for stopping by. Habits, I don't think he's talking about that kind of baking. I mean, I'm sure he has plenty of culinary secrets, but I think he's gonna let those secrets stay a secret, right? Can't show your full hand. So I've never gotten one of those summon scrolls before. I don't know how long that's gonna last. He seems kind of stupid. Dude, I don't know what it is, but I fucking love astronaut ice cream. Like I have an unreasonable love for astronaut ice cream. I have no idea how to get into that fucking room. That's exactly the reason why. Definitely 100% bad habits, that's the reason why. I want some fucking astronaut ice cream now. Oh my god, that was 100% not worth it. No, no, I don't think they make dehydrated Frosties. Though the chocolate astronaut ice cream does kind of taste like a Wendy's chocolate Frosty. That Mimic boss battle was kind of rough, man. Yeah, dude, so, Lyris, have you ever had astronaut ice cream? Yeah, so, like, imagine an ice cream sandwich, but dry, or not wet, and, like the flavor of ice cream. So it's kind of like I mean, it's weird. It's like kind of like a candy bar, but not really. Yeah, it's pretty good, man. But yeah, so it comes in like the three standard flavors, right? Like you could get a standard one that's like just the plain chocolate, or you could get the one that's I think you could get a Neapolitan one, so it's got the vanilla, the strawberry, and the chocolate. I don't know. It's been a couple years since I've had an astronaut ice cream, so. I think they actually sell it at they sell it at Michael's or Hobby Lobby in the of all the places that they sell this. They sell it at either Michael's or Hobby Lobby, and they have it in the aisle that has the model rockets. And it is the most random thing. Well, yeah, I mean, I understand that, I understand the reasoning why it's there. I just think it's pretty fucking bizarre that it's even a thing to begin with. Like, hey, we got this astronaut ice cream in the model rocket section. I mean, it makes sense. I'm not going to argue with it. Alright. And, see, roguelike games are really weird when they do random room generation. Like, why the fuck did they feel the need to put this here? There's an opening right here. Like, was this supposed to be a secret? Yeah, I mean, you've had astronaut ice cream. You know how crumbly that shit gets. That's a space liability, man. Because there's no gravity in space. It's all 0G, so that's the reason why they don't use pencils up there. Because that pencil lead would get into fucking everything. I mean, that 0G environment would be, I mean, it'd be insane. Like, I don't even know what I would do. If you get a chance, you should try to find the video of when they, I don't think they took any cats into space, but they can simulate a 0G environment in an airplane at a certain altitude, performing a certain maneuver. They could have a sustained 0G environment, and so they've subjected a number of animals. Blue, if you send that link to Habits, he should be able to post it. actually, Habits, when you get a chance, can you mod Blue Backbite? No, don't ban him. Can a mod not make more mods? Is that something that I have to do? Hold on. Alright, cool. He's modded now. He's good now. So I'm on floor 2. There's this entire area to the north. I don't know if the payoff is gonna be worth it. It's all good, man. I just obviously don't know what I'm talking about because I'm not on Twitch enough. I mean, that's really what it is. And that, you know, honestly, that's a really obvious thing that I should know. I didn't gain anything from this. That was stupid. I just got beat up. Yeah, I mean that's exactly how I play Elder Scrolls. I'm like, yeah, let me add this mod. Let me add guns to the game. And then it ends up not being fun or crashing all the time. Should do that. I'm trying to remember if I still have Skyrim Special Edition installed. If I do, I should install some ridiculous mods and do a stream based on that. Like, let's play Skyrim with guns. Or let's play Skyrim with the Iron Man armor. I mean, now that I'm talking about it, that's something that I very much want to do. mean, I'm not opposed to it, honestly. So I guess it's time to do a little bit more research. I guess after this stream is over, I'll dig in and try to figure out if there is an Iron Man armor mod for Skyrim. Oh yeah, I mean that's like every game. They're like, ah, let's make the characters naked. Alright, so the healing well is here. So there's another game. There's another rogue-like game with procedurally generated stuff called Chasm that just came out on the PlayStation 4, the PlayStation Vita, and the... You sent me a PM? Alright, hold on. Yeah, that sounds totally legit, dude. I mean, it's not super expensive. It's like, what, $10? Yeah, I'll let you know. I just gotta, let's see. Bonus loot chance. Brown rat. Alright, cool. Wonder if we're getting close to the exits. Alright, so I did take some damage there. What floor are we on now? Floor 4? This is usually when the situation starts to completely fall apart. This is gonna be a bad one, because the healing thing is like right there. What is this? This is a fucking flying gargoyle? Good God. I'm not ready for that. Was definitely not prepared for that. Yeah, so like I was saying, there's another game that came out called Chasm on the PlayStation 4, PlayStation Vita, and I'm assuming that also means the PlayStation, the Vita TV version, and as well as a PC release. I guess it was a game that was like 6 or 8 years in the making, a single developer, similar to Dead Cells. Has procedurally generated content and dungeon crawling, so it's similar to a Metroidvania style game. But I think it leans a little bit harder on the Metroidvania portion than Dead Cells does. Because Dead Cells is much less like the Dead Cells is much less focused on the exploration portion. I don't know that I ever promised singing and ukulele playing in tandem on a stream. That's something that I definitely have to practice. I don't think promises were made. I said that I can play the ukulele, kind of. And I can kind of sort of sing. I don't I mean, if you could call it that. So here's the funny thing, right? Like, I don't have enough brain power to play the ukulele and sing at the same time. Because reasons. Well, think of it like this, right? So if you have a if you have a fast processor with less cores, that means it could do more things very quickly, right? So I would consider myself to be in that category, right? Like I can accomplish things quickly, but not necessarily do a lot of things at the same time. Other people who are much more talented than I am, maybe not as fast doing certain things, but they could do multiple things at the same time, like play an instrument and sing, which it's not a skill that I currently have, or I have not. I guess really the reality of that situation is I have not grinded that skill enough, and I'm not high enough on the skill tree for that. Coordination is hard, Blue. It is hard. That is exactly what I'm talking about. So I didn't realize this for several years. But, so the progression was 8086, 286, 386, 486, and then Pentium processor, right? And it was several years before I realized that that was, you know, because the prefix of penta means 5. So it was basically the continuation of the series as a 586, but with an actual branding. I can't remember if they chose that for marketing reasons or if they're like legally their hand was forced because a clone competitor, either AMD or Cyrix at the time, who Cyrix did not actually go out of business. They were bought by another company. They were absorbed by another company. Was claiming that they had 586 processors. I can't remember what the exact deal was with that. Or do we have a computer history nerd in here that can shed light on that? Alright, so I don't think there's going to be a big enough payoff for me to engage with that thing. So I'm going to teleport back to the entrance. We're going to go south, and we're going to figure out what we need to do. Whoa, what the... I have a feeling that this is where it's going to end. I'm going to come across some books, they're going to fuck me up, and that's going to be the end of that. Look at that, we actually made it to the end of the floor. So we are moving on to the next floor. So I'm at floor 6. And, I'm gonna assume, I don't know 100% that this is the case, but I think floor 6 is last in this area. And it looks like there's another fucking gargoyle. So right now this is a suboptimal situation. I'm sitting at about 1/5 health capacity, and I believe this is the boss stage. Oh yeah, no, it's definitely incoming. It's gonna happen. So what I don't appreciate is the fact that there's all this goddamn debris on the ground that stops my axe dead in its tracks. Oh, see, this is kind of a hard choice here, right? So we've got the Dusk Hander. Power attack becomes a short distance spinning charge. Or we have the Stained Glass Sword, which causes the power attack to be stationary, but it reflects magical projectiles. I don't. Let's do the spinning attack. This is real effed up because this means this is not the boss level. Alright, so I'm sitting at about, I don't know, maybe a 6th health. This is not, it's kind of a shit situation, guys. Alright, so I think I might be heading to the boss floor now. Do I go down here and chance it, or do no? I'm gonna go to the next floor. I'm gonna die anyway, but I'm going to the next floor. All right, so I know where the healing item is. Where the fuck did that guy come from? Are you kidding me? Oh, that's disappointing. There's no teleporter. I gotta run all the way back. Are you kidding me? First world problem. Alright, so I'm gonna go and I'm gonna get this healing thing. Because I think this is the end of this is the end stage situation. Didn't really help out a whole lot, but it's more than I had. So we'll work with that. That's all she wrote on that one. All that work. How much money did I make? At least I almost made 1,000 gold. That was good. Alright, I'm gonna quit out of that session. Lyris, yes. Rip indeed. I knew that was coming though. I mean, there was some poor resource management that had happened across that entire session. That was the furthest that I had gotten, and that was using nothing but brute force, the brute force of the warrior. So, I mean, it happens sometimes, man. You can't control everything. Sometimes you get bad rolls too. Like, oh, that's what happens when you play rogue, a roguelike game. So I'm gonna take a short break. Actually, I'm actually just gonna call it for the night. So, let's see. Let's see what we got. Got Blue Backbite, Spec 2600, Vaseline, Timola currently hosting. You guys are hella rad. Yeah, I know, it's a bit of a disappointment. I kind of want to push it out longer, but I also kind of want to dig in and mess around with some stuff. But no, I mean, I felt like I had a good run. It's been a reasonably eventful chat habits. You and I have had decent chat, good chat, I feel like. So, Lyris has stopped by. I have no idea who this dude is. Thank you for stopping in, dude. My buddy Blue came in, swung through. So, and I made some progress in this game. Well, you know, as much progress as you can make in a roguelike game anyway. So, but thank you guys for stopping by. Lyris, if you enjoyed what you saw tonight, hit the follow button so you know when I go live. If you hated it, also hit the follow button. Make sure you turn on the notifications so you know when I go live and you know to avoid it. So, thank you for the follow. Alright guys, have a good night. Thanks for stopping by. I will catch you later. Probably going to throw a host over to my buddy Booty. And I will catch you guys later.